Alrighty, Darren Yergin here on behalf of the University of Chicago and the NCAA following Denison's triple overtime victory over Chicago 10-9 here in the second round of the NCAA tournament. From left to right, I'm joined by head coach Amanda Daniels. In the middle, it's Abby Van Meter. And on the right, it's Caroline O'Day. So, Coach, why don't you just give us a synopsis, if you can sum up what exactly happened out there today?
A whole lot of heart, a whole lot of grit, and just never give up attitude all around. I mean, to go down quickly 3-0, to fight our way back, to kind of be down for a lot of that game. And even after being up by one later in the game, to go down by one really quickly, and not to allow that to kind of just take us out of our game and make us feel like we weren't still in that game or going to win that game. Was just incredible. And then to go into overtime and have, so many great opportunities, and, Chicago came down and they had some great opportunities, and to be able to shut those down, because that could have been a really quick end of the game for us on a tough note. And just everyone fought to the final whistle, and for us to be able to come up out on top was honestly just an incredible full team effort.
Yeah, absolutely. So for you, Abby, I know you're a defensive player, correct? Just talk a little bit about, especially there in the second half, Chicago, like your coach had talked about, got off to a good start, kind of was cruising a bit on offense. I mean, 7 goals isn't that crazy in the first half, but certainly they were very effective. I believe there was a 22-minute stretch of the game in which Chicago did not score in the second half. So any adjustments in the second half, or just talk a little bit about the defensive effort?
I just think everyone, no one gave up the entire time. Throughout the game, even when we were down, we just fought hard to come back. And on defense, we just wanted it so badly. Every ground ball, we wanted to get those cause turnovers. And I don't think we even really made that many adjustments. I just think people played so hard, and everyone on the team, from the bench to defense, attack, everyone knew that we were going to win that game. There wasn't a doubt. Even after we went down in the first quarter, no one doubted it for a second that we could win that game.
Yeah, certainly there was a response pretty much every time, and kind of the final response is what gave you guys the win.
Yeah.
For you, Caroline, really, I thought an insane performance in between the pipes. I've been there before, and especially in overtime, there's a lot of pressure on you as a goalie, even though your teammates will tell you it's not your fault, but you always will feel like it is your fault. So just talk a little bit about your ability to kind of persevere there, especially with a couple big saves in OT, but really throughout the game. 14 saves on 23 shots is pretty good.
Well, we've been there before in this situation. We had overtime, actually, with our biggest rival, Kenyon, earlier in later April, and they took that one shot and it went in. So I've been in that stressful position before. I know I told my defense this. I think it was when Chicago scored 2 goals in a row. I actually didn't join the huddle, and I told them I need a second to myself to calm down. So that really just helped me. Whenever I need a second to regroup and stay calm. But I don't know, something about this team, I just knew it wasn't going to be our last time playing.
Yeah, I mean, and I think, Coach and I had talked about this yesterday, but with you two not being there, really just a season in which you guys played a lot of strong competition and maybe came out on the other end of it a lot of times. But maybe, Abby, just talk a little bit about what did that win in the conference tournament do in winning the conference against Kenyon, and you think that helped kind of propel you to this effort today?
Yeah, I mean, I think every team that we've played this entire season can look at our record and they underestimate us. I mean, we really did struggle in the beginning, but I'm just so proud of everyone. We've never given up for 1 second. Even when the times were really tough and we thought it would just be easier to give up, we kept going. And I just think that win against Kenyon, it's not even it was a close game. We dominated that game. That just gave us so much confidence going into this tournament. And we played so well, or we played against Hope yesterday. It was a little gritty, but today, I just think everything that we've worked for this season has come out, and since winning that Kenyon game, it's just given us the confidence to propel forward.
And for you, Caroline, one of the leaders on the team, and obviously, being a goalkeeper, it kind of speaks to that. I don't want to expose anything, but I think it's fair to say you guys had dubbed this some type of revenge tour, and you guys certainly were able to make good on that against Kenyon. And a lot of teams have said things about a revenge tour only to lose by a wide margin. So talk a little bit about the resolve and the mental makeup of this team and how you think the revenge tour wasn't just something that you said, it was actually something you were going to do.
Yeah, I mean, I could argue we've been in this revenge tour era for a long time. Like, after every single loss, we came back to practice on Monday, not being defeated, not ready to give up. We were like, okay, now let's work on the transition. Each week it was something else. We'd get smacked down and we'd find a way to get back up. So I would argue it's been going on for a long time, but the difference now is like, it's you know, you lose, you're out, and our teammates, we just love each other too much. We've put in way too much effort to give up, and it shows right now. And I think, you know, we got a lot more to do, and we're going to do it.
Coach, was there anything specifically that you thought was different from the game at your place?
What do you mean, the game at my place? Sorry.
Like when Chicago had played against
Oh,
you guys.
from them. I
Earlier
forgot,
this
it was
season,
so long
yes.
ago.
A whole other team.
Sorry, yeah.
Yes.
I mean, yeah, we've just come such a long way since that game, and kind of everything was just going against us that day, and we didn't know how to unbury at that time, and that was something that we've been talking a lot about throughout the season, and to show like that resolve and everything to unbury and to just keep fighting and to just find the positive things and to lift each other up. That's been, you know, such a big thing. And obviously coming off of the statement win against Kenyon, that has shown us a lot. It showed us, you know, after all of those tough games this year, we would say, like, we know the team we can be. We know it's there. We know it's there. Like, keep fighting, and we're here. And that was kind of what we brought today.
Yeah, and for you, Abby, maybe just adding a little bit to Coach, but I wanted to ask, because I had noticed how strong of a schedule you guys played, and even that you guys had played a very good team in between your regular conference season and the postseason. Do you think that scheduling like that and playing against teams of that caliber and doing it kind of in a short vacuumed area helps you in the NCAA tournament?
100%. I think, like, it's definitely hard. Like, this is the hardest schedule I think we've had in forever. And just, like, we played Washington and Lee in between before, so that was, like, really good practice for us. Like, obviously it wasn't the result that we wanted, but just having that really tough team to play against, I think really set us up to go into the championship and have, like, confidence. Even though we lost, like, we played them well, like, in parts, and we took the parts of that game and, like, really worked it into the Kenyon game, and I think that's, like, what gave us the most confidence going into that.
Yeah, and I know you guys have strength literally in numbers, but certainly in skill as well. Caroline, just talk a little bit about Jane Bailey. She's an outstanding player. I saw her go down early, and frankly, you know, as an unbiased party, I was a little bit worried for you guys, and it didn't seem like the team missed a beat. So just talk a little bit about that, and sort of, was there any type of messaging, or was it like, next man up, you got to just keep going?
I mean, we have a very strong bench, and we've known that. Also, a huge reason why I think we won today was to make sure that we got another game for Jane, just because she's, you know, an awesome teammate, an awesome attacker, obviously one of our best. But yeah, we just have such a strong bench, such a strong attacking squad, and we play for each other. So I wasn't worried. I knew that we would, you know, pick it up right where we left off, and I knew that we would play for Jane to make sure Jane got to play again.
Absolutely, and I guess just kind of last question, Coach. Notice you guys really were pretty successful in the draw control throughout. I know it may not show it on the stat sheet with how even it was, but it certainly allowed you to have several possessions in overtime. I know you probably thought one of those was going to go in before it did, but just talk a little bit about your ability on the draw control and how that kind of translated to some offense today.
Yeah, I mean, the draw was an area that we struggled in early on in the year too, and it was kind of one of those steps that we had to take back to really focus on kind of getting better at and fixing and just finding our rhythm there, and we really have. And yeah, it was pretty even today, but we won them when we needed it, and you know, it was just, again, that comes down to just that heart and grit and that, you know, never give up attitude, and like, we're going to get this ball, and they showed up, and we found the right kind of trio to have out there, and they got the job done.
And I guess last real question for both Abby and Caroline, just what does this do? I know you had a big win against Kenyon that obviously improved the confidence of the group. What does this win on Chicago's home field after, losing to them 20-9 earlier in the season, all that stuff. How does that help you guys carry forward in the NCAA tournament?
I mean, just the fact that the sky's the limit, like we're capable of so much more than we think we are, and we have all the skills to do it, and we have the heart to do it. So I don't know. I think we all know that we're going to go really far, and we have the potential to. So yeah.
Yeah, I think like what you said, like confidence, but also just like knowing that like we've taken everything that we needed to fix, and we fixed it going forward so that we can beat our next opponent.
Absolutely. Unless you guys have anything to add, that'll wrap things up here. Like we said, just to sum this up, Denison with a triple overtime victory here in Chicago, and will be advancing to the third round of the NCAA championships with their opponent yet to be determined. But we appreciate you three for being here, and wish you nothing but the best of luck as you go forward in the NCAA tournament. Congratulations.
Thank you.